Avocado BLT is made with antibiotic-free roasted turkey, flavorful tomatoes, and ripe avocados, all on sourdough bread.
Now live from Studio 550, it's McGraw in the Morning on the Big 550 KTRS.
7:52 here on the Big 550 KTRS. She's been a longtime friend, and she's a media darling. She's Dianne, Toroian, Keaggy, and she's got the main story in today's St. Louis Post-Dispatch about the Art Museum in Forest Park. Good morning, Dianne.
Good morning, McGraw. How are you?
Tell us about this. First of all, the renovation going on with the Art Museum. What has that entailed?
It really is amazing. It is a $162 million construction project. It is a new building that is connected to the old building, and it's designed by a big-name architect named David Chipperfield. He's British. People just love him. And what's really amazing about this building is that it is gorgeous, but at the same time, really respectful of the art museum building that we know and love.
So this British architect, David Chipperfield, no one's ever heard of, but he's considered one of the best.
People in the world of architecture have definitely heard of him. And in Europe, he's a really big deal. This is his biggest project in America.
So this is a major coup here in St. Louis.
I think so.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Even though that real art is sort of lost on some of us, right?
On you, McGraw.
on me. Okay, fair enough. I'm trying. So when does this new art exhibit or
when
thing
can you
open up?
see it?
Yeah.
It opens to the public the last weekend of June. They're going to have a big 2-day festival where they're going to have a grand opening and people can see it themselves. But in the meantime, they're bringing in national media to see the expansion. And yesterday was the first day that national media got its peak at the art expansion.
And so you're telling me that national media, people from all around the world, people from New York and the major are flying in, sending resources to come to St. Louis to see this expansion.
You know what? It's true. This is a very big deal. I mean, for art writers and art critics, this is a very major expansion to a very important art museum.
And what is this expansion? What does this expansion allow the St. Louis Art Museum to do?
Well, it does a few things. First off, it's just more space, 30% more gallery space. I mean, the art museum has tons of artwork that is basically in storage.
Right.
And I don't know where that storage room is. I want to see it. But
it's storage on Hampton.
Exactly. And so this allows them to bring amazing works from its collection and showcase them. But what they're specifically doing is making this new building all about contemporary American art. It also has a special exhibition space. And so one of the problems with the old space is that the galleries were just too small. You couldn't get really large-scale works in and out of the art museum. So this is going to allow the art museum to get some really big, literally big exhibits into that space.
In your story, Dianne, Toroian, Keaggy, in the front cover of the St. Louis Post-Dispatch, you say that not only this expansion is getting national attention, but they're also incorporating all of the art world here in St. Louis. Talk about that for a second.
Well, it's a very it shows a lot of foresight because all of these art organizations, and it's true. I mean, people are like, St. Louis, a culture town? I don't think so. No, actually, St. Louis really is. I mean, the Opera Theater St. Louis, national reputation.
Right.
St. Louis Symphony, national reputation. And St. Louis has invested millions of dollars in the visual arts with the new Pulitzer, not that new, but the Pulitzer and the Contemporary Art Museum St. Louis. There are some major institutions here. So what they're doing is they're saying to these visiting critics, we have this art museum, but we also have all of these other institutions. And so the hope is that you plant the seed. Wow, there's a lot actually happening in St. Louis. And so when we write about art and culture in America, we're going to see what's happening in St. Louis and just really sort of shine the spotlight on the entire scene.
So really, this is a feather in our cap that the New York Times are sending people. They are spending valuable resources because St. Louis has got something in the art world.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think that we're going to be seeing a lot of attention, and I think we're going to be seeing we're going to see the St. Louis Art Museum in a lot of national publications this year.
Explain to me the difference between the Contemporary Museum and the Pulitzer Museum?
Well, they're right next to each other,
Right.
but they're totally different. They were designed by different architects, run by different institutions. The Pulitzer has some permanent pieces, where the Contemporary is a non-collecting facility. They just organize shows and bring them there. But the Contemporary does not actually own any art.
What's the one where that has that cool Sarah sculpture inside?
Right. Oh, I love that sculpture. So that is in the courtyard between the Contemporary and the Pulitzer, but it actually belongs to the Pulitzer.
That's a shame that is so hidden back there. It was one of the
Right.
greatest sculptures or physical spaces you can ever walk into.
It's called Joe, and I love Joe. And I've got to be honest, I personally am not a huge Richard Serra fan,
Right.
but I love that sculpture.
That is one of the greatest things to walk through, because you lose your balance while
Yeah.
walking through it.
Right. No, it's great. People should see it.
Okay, so the art museum opens up when?
June 29th is when the public can see it. Of course, you can drive by it right now and see the beautiful exterior. There's going to be a brand new, really nice restaurant. There's also a major work of sculpture that you can see right now because it's outside, Stone Sea by Andy Goldsworthy, a huge British sculptor.
More importantly, did they touch the guy on the horse in front of the art museum?
And no way, never.
All right. And we can read all about it in today's hometown newspaper.
Absolutely.
Dianne, Toroian, Keaggy, thanks for coming in.
Thank you, McGraw.
You got it. 7:58 here on the Big 550 KTRS.